This card took a little bit of effort to figure out, but once I did, it's the easiest thing ever. Come with me as I show you how to make this striped card with a little bit of effort and little to no waste. Join me in my crafting day as we make some striped magic. Now let's get crafting. The only paper you'll need for this card is one 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and a scrap of colored paper. I have this Recollections Shimmer paper, and that's what I'm going to use. If you have any stamps or stickers for a greeting, grab them. And you'll want to use both craft glue and tape for this card. Grab a piece of string or any other embellishments you want, and that's it. So first you're going to cut your 8.5 by 11 cardstock in half at 5.5 inches. And then with the second half of that card, you're going to cut that down to 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then another piece that's 3 inches by 1 inch. With your colored paper, you're going to cut that down to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Take any scraps from that and cut a piece that's 3 1/4 inches by 1 1/4 inches. All the measurements are going to be written in the description box for you, as well as here. When I designed this card, I tried several ways to make it, from layering each individual strip to using guides, and then I came up with this cutting trick that made it so much easier. Now for the striped cutting. Take that red paper, line up the diagonal points of paper at the 3/4 inch mark on your paper cutter, and cut one side. Take the scrap and put it off to the side, and then rotate the piece around again and line it up where the points are at 3/4 inch on your cutting mat, and cut the second side. Save all your scraps. This piece that you just cut is going to be the centerpiece for our card. Stack your two scraps on top of each other for the remaining cuts. Mine are close but not perfect. Just make sure you line up the long edge and it'll be fine. The first cut is 1/4 inch, so line up the long edge on a 1/4 inch mark on your cutting mat and cut. Then slide the paper over so that the cut you just made lines up with the 3/4 inch mark on your cutter and cut. Then you're going to slide that over again so that the cut line is at a 1/4 inch mark. Now don't worry if the pieces come off, just put them to the side. All the rest of the cuts we're going to be doing are going to be at the 1/4 inch mark. You're going to continue to cut until the pieces get very small, so you may want to tape down your pieces so they don't want to move, or as somebody suggested, use a Post-it to hold down any small pieces that you're cutting. Now with all your pieces cut, we're going to reassemble them back into a rectangle. Take the pieces off the top layer and rotate them around to the other side of the large piece. You can use your lines on the cutting mat to make sure you get a straight square. As you're lining these up, it can be a little frustrating, but once this is done, it's going to save you when you're trying to assemble this onto your cardstock. You can drag your finger over the top, and that'll let you know if any pieces are overlapping. Once you have all the pieces as close as you can get them, you're going to take a piece of removable tape or washi tape and put it diagonally across the piece. And then for added security, you're going to add one piece across the top and one piece across the bottom, making sure that you attach it to that small corner piece. To fold your cardstock, just line up the two short edges and then use a bone folder or an old credit card and press down towards the fold, and that'll give you a nice crisp edge. Now flip over your red paper with the stripes, and we're going to glue every other piece starting at the corner. You don't need a lot of glue, but you do need to make sure that the glue goes to the edges and to the tips of each of the pieces that you are gluing. Once everything is all glued, you're going to flip it over onto the card base. Before you press down too hard, make sure you line up the edges evenly so you have even spaces along the top, bottom, and sides. Once it's centered, press it down, and you can press down every piece because the pieces without glue aren't going to stick. Gently peel off the top and bottom pieces of your washi tape. When peeling these off, try not to lift up any of the pieces of the red paper. Now comes the magic. As you peel off the diagonal piece of tape, you'll notice that the stripes are starting to form on your card. Now don't worry if one doesn't pop up automatically, we can get that. And with this washi tape, you're going to want to leave the scraps on it because we're going to use them later. Once your washi tape's off, you have your striped front. Cut your washi tape in half, and you're going to glue the two smallest pieces inside your card to add a little decoration there. Now you can use the washi tape to hold the first set down while you add glue to the second set. And then you'll just peel the tapes away from both of the cards. And now the inside of your card has a little bit of decoration. Now let's finish up the front. Take the smallest piece of cardstock that you cut and add a stamped greeting. I'm using the Misty Stamp Positioner so I can stamp the greeting multiple times in order to get a rich, crisp image. And I also decided to stamp and cut out some holly leaves to add to the card. Now let's get building our greeting. Start by layering the red paper on top of the largest piece of white cardstock. And then you're going to add the sentiment layer right on top of that. I want the greeting to pop, so I'm going to use foam tape. I'm adding a piece to each edge, and then I'm adding a piece close to the left side to create a little valley for the string to sit in. Then all you need to do is line up your string so it sits between the two pieces of foam tape as you wrap it around. And then tie your knot, and it's all set to assemble to the front of the card. Now double check that string and make sure it's sitting against the cardstock and not on the foam tape before you affix it to the front of your card. The last touch is our little holly leaves, so grab your tweezers and some glue and add them to the front of the card. I think the leaves is a little pop of green that breaks up some of the red and white on the front of the card. And just like that, our card is done. Once I figured out this card, I like making it for all occasions, whether it's going to be a holiday card, a man's birthday, or a woman's birthday card. Whenever I make a card, I try to design it so that I can make it for a multi-season or multi-use, and that way I have more options. I hope you liked the ideas and tips I gave you today, and if you did, I would appreciate it if you would click the like button below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll keep sharing my creative days with you. And that's all till our next creative day.